Fellas, from Michael Bisping to Leon Edwards to Tom Aspinall at UFC 295, I think right now is the best state the British MMA has ever been in. We're going to be going over some prospects and contenders from the UK in today's video. Just because British MMA right now, as a British fan, it's the best it's ever been. It's at its peak for me. I think we've got the best fighters. We're in the best position we've ever been in before. And I'm just really happy with what the British MMA community has done. And I'm doing this video because obviously Tom Aspinall just knocked out Sergey Pavlovich at UFC 295, securing us another champion just a year after Leon Edwards got his. So yeah, we're going to be talking about some contenders, starting off with Leon Edwards himself. Leon Edwards, people have mixed opinions on Leon Edwards. Some people don't like him because he's kind of slowed down the welterweight division. He's kind of been picking and choosing who he wants to fight, and now he's just called out Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, and he's only had one defense. But you've got to admit, he's done a lot for British MMA. The fact that he caught so much attention because of the head kick knockout, you've got to give Leon Edwards respect for the knockout, and he is the current champion, pound for pound number 4 as well, with just one defense. But he ended the Usman reign. You can talk about fighters getting easy title shots. Kamaru Usman was not an easy title shot. I believe Usman was pound for pound 1 to 3. I don't know which one it was, but Usman was not an easy guy to get a title shot off. He was dominating all the welterweights. Leon Edwards knocked him out and then beat him by decision. You've got to give him respect for that. He's one of the best welterweights we've had. Obviously, I'm not saying he's maybe not even top 5 yet. He's still got a lot of time to go. But if he goes out there and beats Covington and he starts building a little bit of a resume, if he goes out there, you know, beats Bilal Muhammad, Shavkat Rakhmonov, we might actually have a proper British contender in the welterweight division. He's only ever lost twice as well. He lost once to Kamaru Usman, who he's now got 2 wins over, and he lost to someone else in his early career. But Leon Edwards, genuine contender. You've got to give him respect for that. And the next fighter, Tom Aspinall. So much hype around this guy. I know you're probably sick of me talking about him, but I've been talking about him for a while. I've been a fan of this guy since the Sergey Spivak fight back in 2021, and ever since I always knew he was going to be a champion. You can check my old videos from the Tibura fight. I knew Aspinall was going to be champion, and now he's gone out and done it, but I didn't expect it to be that easy. I think Tom Aspinall is going to retire as the greatest heavyweight of all time. And I'm not just saying that because Bisping said it. You know, Bisping says a lot of things, especially on commentary, that I don't agree with. But the way that Tom Aspinall moves, the fastest heavyweight, he moves so... He's extremely quick. He's got grappling, he's got striking, he's got knockout power. He just knocked out the knockout artist in Sergey Pavlovich. Tom Aspinall is doing huge things for British MMA, and he secured us another champion, the 3rd ever British champion as well. And it's the first time in UFC history where we've had 2 simultaneous champions from the UK. So for me, Tom Aspinall, favourite fighter, but most importantly, he's such a good fighter. Like, he's the best heavyweight in the world right now. People are going to, you know, poke fun at the fact that he's not the heavyweight champion. He is technically the interim champion. But if Jones is picking Stipe over Aspinall, I think we should just instantly promote Aspinall as the heavyweight champion, in my opinion, because he deserves it. He's extremely well-rounded as well. He's got S-tier grappling, S-tier striking as well, as we just saw against Sergey Pavlovich, and he's finished every single one of his opponents. I think he's going to have like an average fight time of like 1 minute, which is insane. So this guy comes from the UK, and he's definitely a big representative for UK MMA. Tom Aspinall, one of our best contenders, not even a contender anymore, he's got the belt. One of the best champions we've ever, I mean, we've only had 3, but I think Aspinall has potential to be the greatest British fighter of all time, and he's only just won the belt, and he's 30 years old, he's got a lot of time left. That's another fighter we've got from the UK, which is it brings levels to the UK MMA. Next fighter, Arnold Allen. Now, he has had a bit of a... His career's not a bad career. He did just lose to Holloway early this year in Kansas City, but he's never lost in the UFC before. He's got a record of 19-2, which is impressive, and I genuinely believe he can still win the belt one day. He lost to Holloway. That was the highest kind of like caliber fight he's ever had before. He's 19-2, but he's extremely dangerous. Arnold Allen represents a scrapper. We've got a lot of scrappers in the UK, and Arnold Allen is just that. He will brawl with you. That 5th round against Holloway, it just shows the type of fighter that Arnold Allen is. Finished Dan Hooker. Controversial, but he did finish Calvin Kattar as well. So Arnold Allen, He's one of our best contenders in the featherweight division, and he's going to be fighting Movslo Evloev at UFC 297. UFC 297 next year, and I can't wait to watch that as well because he's got a solid chance of beating Movslo Evloev as well. I can't pronounce his name as well. I'm going to move off that name. He also got a win over Sadiq Youssef as well. So this guy has been piecing up featherweights. He was on a massive winning streak before the Holloway fight. And he's got a solid chance to fight for the belt as well. Arnold Allen, I genuinely believe he will fight for the belt eventually. He is going to have to get another kind of top-ranked win. If he beats Evloev, he's going to have to probably beat another contender, maybe another two. But Arnold Allen's got everything it takes to be a champion, so that's another contender from the UK. Then we've got Mohamad Makhachev. I can almost bet money that this guy will be champion one day. That's how confident I am. 23 years old, which is extremely young. Just finished Tim Elliott, and he's calling out people like Brandon Moreno already. Now, maybe he gets fast-tracked, and maybe, for all we know, he gets knocked out in his next fight. I still think he's going to be champion one day. 23 years old. He's got another 10 years left in this game, man. He's easily got another 10 years left in the game. Never lost a fight in his life as well. That's a fun fact. He's never lost as an amateur, never lost as a professional, he's just never lost. He's never tasted defeat. 4 out of 5 of his wins all come by way of finishes. Like, I remember his debut back last year. I think it was the Aspel Volkov card. I swear he knocked his opponent out and submitted him in the same round. It was crazy. But Arnold Allen, he's a mauler. He's one of the few fighters from the UK. I have mixed opinions on Dagestanis. I like a lot of them, but I also think some of them can be quite boring. And it feels like Mohamad Makhachev is like a British Dagestani. He's not Dagestani, but he's from the UK, so we kind of want to claim him. But yeah, I'm almost certain he'll be champion one day, flyweight champion. And within a couple of years, we could be seeing his name up there with people like Aspinall, Edwards, and Bisping. So this guy is someone you really need to start watching. He just fought at 294, and he's already calling out people like Moreno. Arnold Allen, massive, massive prospect. Next fight is going to get mixed opinions. Paddy Piml. Now, I'm not saying that Paddy Pimlet's a contender. I'm not saying that he's this extremely skillful fighter like Aspinall, but he's a big star. In UK, there's been so much eyes on MMA and UFC specifically because of Paddy Piml. He's got millions of views on his fights, and he's arguably the biggest fighter in the UK right now. We've got Tom Aspinall, but I'd say Paddy Piml is in name-wise, he's bigger than Tom Aspinall. He's probably the biggest name we've ever had in MMA besides people like Bisping and Darren Till and Leon Edwards. So Paddy Piml, you can say what you want, but he's a big star, and he's about to fight Tony Ferguson on the same card as Leon. And if he can beat Tony Ferguson, and I know Ferguson's on a losing streak, but if he can beat the ex-boogeyman of the division, that's going to be a massive win for Paddy Piml, a massive win. And from there, who knows, he's going to have to start fighting these ranked lightweights. But Paddy Piml, he's undefeated in the UFC. I know the Jared Gordon win was kind of controversial, but he is undefeated. Massive star in MMA, brings so many eyes from the UK, and he's hated, but he still gets eyes to the sport. He still brings eyes to the sport. So I'm bringing Paddy Piml as a UK kind of. I don't even want to call him a prospect yet because he needs a solid win. But if he beats Ferguson, I know Ferguson's on a 6-fight losing streak, but that's going to be massive for British MMA. So Paddy Piml, I'm going to include. Then we've got Paul Craig. He's not English, he's from Scotland, but he's still British. And Paul Craig he's one of the weirdest fighters in the UFC. I feel like he's one of those fighters that you can never really bet money on. Sometimes he'll get a win, sometimes he'll lose. He's crazy. He's got wins over Magomed Ankalaev, Jamal Hill, Nikita Krylov. He was really close to winning the belt in the light heavyweight division. Then he lost to Volkan Oezdemir. Then it was Johnny Walker, but he just picked up a win in his middleweight debut against Andre Muniz. And Paul Craig, I feel like he could be one of those fighters. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to win a belt yet because I've not seen enough, but he is a rising contender. He's got a fight night main event coming up against, Brendan Allen, who's another grappler, and I'm excited to see that. He's got some of the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC as Paul Craig, Scotland's biggest MMA fighter, and if he starts going on a tear, if he can beat Brendan Allen, then we might be talking about people like Marvin Vettori, maybe even a Paulo Costa, those type of names in the middleweight division. He's not that far from a title shot. It's just, he does need to improve his stand-up significantly. He needs to set up his takedowns a little bit better rather than just, pulling guard, but Paul Craig is a rising contender from Scotland and the UK. And then finally, Nathaniel Wood and Lerone Murphy. Now, these two are kind of contenders in the featherweight division. I think Lerone Murphy might be ranked now. I don't know if he is, though. Nathaniel Wood is coming off a loss, but he got cheated in his last fight. If you watched it at UFC 294, he definitely got cheated. But these two are still contenders from the UK. We've got Lerone Murphy, who's undefeated. He's got an amazing life story. Not the most entertaining fighter in terms of styles. He's kind of a grappling style fighter that kind of just wrestles you to a decision. But he won at UFC. It was the Aspel Tibura card, and Nathaniel Wood lost his last fight, but I still think these guys are up and comers. I'm not going to call them prospects or contenders yet because they're not, but if they can start climbing the rankings, these could be real problems in the featherweight division, and I think both of them definitely could. They have the potential to do it. Nathaniel Wood's kind of like a scrapper. He kind of reminds me of a featherweight Michael Chandler. He does need to, improve a couple areas in his game, but he is a scrapper, is Nathaniel Wood. And Lerone Murphy, I mean, they say British people can't wrestle, but Lerone Murphy completely goes against that. Wood's an entertaining fighter. Lerone Murphy, it works. And I genuinely think they could be contenders they could actually move from an up-and-comer to a contender in the UK. And yeah, that's the current state of British MMA. We've got so many, I mean, there's other people as well. Mark Jacasey. We've got people like Mark Jacasey. We've got a lot of fighters. I mean, I'm not going to include Molly the Meatball McCann, but the current state of British MMA, in my opinion, the best it's ever been. We've got the most top-level fighters. And that's what I think about it. Let me know your thoughts on the state of British MMA. Are you from the UK? If you're not, let me know your thoughts on it. On your thoughts of British MMA. But yeah, thank you for watching.